Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to For the Fan, episode number 150, historic episode today, milestone. I am Will, and we got Dom here. Dom, hello. Happy New Year.
Yeah, 150 to start a whole new year. Look at that.
And Texas just tied the football game here and against Arizona in the Peach Bowl. I got my mascot back there with the beans hat on. That was a rewarding Christmas present, so that was
That's so
funny.
Awesome. They're great. I love that so much.
Yeah, today's just been such like a weird day, so like everything's just like thrown off, everything's tossed off. But yeah, you follow.
Sorry.
No, finish your thought, and then I can.
Holidays in the middle of the week are weird. You know.
They are weird. They are one of the weirdest years.
Yeah.
Weirdest years. Yeah, they're just weird in general.
Weirdest holiday years. Yeah, that counts.
Yeah, I don't see us on TikTok that we're not live on here, so I don't know what's going on there on the TikTok world. It says we're offline, which is odd. How about I end this live and I start it again? Because, well, yeah, TikTok doesn't want us to work. But yes, as I'm trying to get that stuff situated, I'm going to hit the intro. You're listening to For the Fan.
You are listening to For the Fan.
And there we go. We are now live on TikTok. So, yeah, that's good. Now that I got that figured out, I should get my, I don't know, college degree in figuring out IT services. We got that all situated. But let's talk about the playoff picture because, well, there's no news, there's no headlines. A lot of people aren't playing this week. We'll get to that in a couple minutes. But we have the playoff picture as what's going on right now. So this is what we got. It is the AFC, which is the Chiefs who have the 1 seed locked up, the Bills who have the 2 seed locked up, the Ravens who can flip into a wild card spot if something happens, Houston who's locked in at 4 no matter what they do, Steelers can fall they can fall to 6 or they can to 3 depending on everything that goes down, and then Denver, which is the tricky one, the Dolphins and the Bengals are praying for a Christmas miracle. Something good to start their 2025. And then on the right side, the Detroit Lions, followed by who are, right now is the 1 seed. Vikings win against them in week 18. Good flip-flop. And we got, Dom, we're popping off on TikTok right now. We have 200 people here. We have 200 people on TikTok, and it's just going up from here. I thank you all for tuning in. New year, just we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Okay. Yeah, Eagles here at the 2 seed. They're locked in, so they're resting their starters this week. Rams are essentially locked in. They're figuring this out. I'm just looking at this thing just go up and up and up, man. This is wild. 337. Like we're peaking. We're peaking already. Tampa Bay, who can fall to out of the playoffs or stay in at all these other little spots here. Yeah, we got that. Vikings are 5, Washington at 6, and then Green Bay is at 7. A lot of flip-flopping can happen here, but we're going to break this all down here right away. So let's start out with the AFC side. So here, we have the AFC North who plays Saturday night, and looking at it, so if you have the Browns win, click the Browns in the playoff thing, and the Steelers win, okay?
Boom.
We got a lot of stuff that happens here. If flip-flops, Steelers go into hosting a playoff game during the wild card round, but if you have the Bengals win, and if you just wanted to click the Ravens to win for fun, it doesn't really affect that outcome. But yes, they fall down into the abyss essentially for the AFC side. And if you want it for fun, if you want to click the it's right, because your Chargers would hold the tiebreaker, but if they lose to the Raiders, they would fall down to 6. They would go into there we go. Yeah, so if you click if the Bengals win, there you go. Steelers hold a tiebreaker because of the head-to-head win that they had in week 3 in Pittsburgh, so that's good. We got Broncos going off in the chat right now. Everyone's joining here, so thank you all for coming in, doing all that stuff. If you guys want to tap the screen, you can tap the screen, all that fun stuff. And yeah, so looking at let's see.
Broncos against Chiefs is crazy. Do the Chiefs care? Are the Chiefs going to sit? Chiefs are
Patrick
gonna
Mahomes
sit.
is Patrick Mahomes ain't playing. Carson Wentz starting. So here, Broncos win. Broncos are in the playoffs. And then you look at the other 4:00 matchup with the Jets and the Dolphins here. If the Dolphins win, you want to do something funny here. Chiefs win, and then Dolphins win.
Okay.
Dolphins slide into 7 here, but if the Jets win, miraculously, the Bengals slide in. So this is little interesting here for all this kind of stuff. Now in the NFC,
the Broncos should win.
the Broncos should
They
win.
don't have any excuse here. Chiefs are going to sit guys. The Broncos should technically win.
They hold their destiny. They just win and they're in.
Okay.
And then on the NFC side, I think if Washington wins and the Packers win, they hold the tiebreaker over the Packers, so they'll lock into the 6th seed. Packers right next to it. Right next to where your cursor is.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, but then if Washington loses to the Cowboys and, that stuff, then we get the flip-flop there in the thing. Washington goes to Philadelphia. Green Bay goes to L.A. And then looking at it like this, and then it goes down to the last matchup, actually. So if we go Vikings and Lions here, whoever wins is the 1 seed. They get the first round bye.
Straight up and down. That game really matters, right? Like for real, this game
wins. Who gets it if they tie? If you click the middle there, Detroit gets it in on the tie. Okay. So no Chargers and Raiders matchup here going for the century there, but we also have the NFC South too. So if Falcons win and the Saints win, Saints are trying to get Kamara back and Carr back, really stunt the Buccaneers there. Falcons would host a playoff game against the NFC North, whether it is the Lions or the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, Buccaneers win, they control their destiny. If they lose, they need the Carolina Panthers to lose. No, they need Panthers to win. And Texas advances, horns down. They advance in the college football playoffs. Another one of the big 4 are down in the college world. If you go do there's no other matchups that matter, at least for the playoffs. It would be like
LA and
all that stuff.
This doesn't matter, right? Arizona?
Rams clinched.
Okay. Though you see this. If the Rams lose, they could drop a spot.
They could drop a spot.
They could drop a seed.
But they got Jimmy G playing. They're not going to drop it because Jimmy G is playing.
Yeah, okay. So Atlanta can only snag the 4th spot no matter what. But if Tampa Bay were to win and the Rams lose to Seattle, the Rams move down to the 4th seed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked that somehow Seattle and Arizona lost their chances.
Panthers came in. They stunted Arizona a few weeks ago in Carolina. Dom, you were there. You picked the upset. You're the only one that bought into it.
I don't know why.
Was this that hunch? Itchy palms. You're like, oh man, I got this really big hunch here. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Washington did enough last week to put them to guarantee them a spot in the playoffs.
They're gonna play their team. They're gonna play their people because they rather play the 6th seed, whether it's LA or Tampa Bay, over going to Philadelphia, because that's gonna be a very tough matchup if they have to go into Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
And also, why not cap off Jalen Hurts' more historic rookie season at quarterback there? So
Jaden Daniels,
yes. Who did I say?
You said Jaden Hurts.
Oh man, that's our new year, same me. There we go. That's what we like to see. So yeah, so Texans, nothing happens there. They're locked into the 4, so they're benching all their guys. They're not playing them.
Okay.
That 4:30 slot though. 4:30 on a Saturday afternoon for the Texans. That's going to be a great game. I can already foresee it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, the Bills are stuck in their spot no matter what.
Yeah, Josh Allen's going to play like a snap and then get taken out. They just want to keep his start streak alive.
Okay.
So Patriots lose, they lock in the number one overall pick in the NFL draft. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it with Drake May and how he's progressing. Limited in practice though, so we'll be getting to that in just a second. But
Tell you what,
3 weeks
we
ago
have
was
some-
pretty fun figuring it out.
yeah, we have some games this coming week that are like might be some of the worst games we've ever seen of football. The Giants don't want to win, and the Eagles aren't going to start anyone, and they definitely don't want to win. And then you have the Bills; they're not starting anyone, but the Patriots also might not want to win. So
Mm-hmm.
I see some not so pro level football going on in these games, but that's okay.
I don't know. It's week 18. I'm excited just for Sunday Night Football. Like that's just going to be a firework and a half matchup. 5 years since the last time we had a number one seeded Sunday Night Football game come down to this. That infamous 49er Seahawk game to the 1 foot line. That's where it fell down to. It's going to be good. Sam Darnold playing his best. Jared Goff playing his best. Defense ain't going to exist in this game. Everything's going to be going down in this game. So it's going to be an exciting watch here for basically all of America. I don't think no one cannot not be excited for this game.
In Detroit too, it'll be spectacular.
One team will play in a dome the rest of the playoffs, and one team will be, I don't know, depends what goes on there. Could be in a dome, could be outdoors. What happens here is going to be something to see. We're going to figure that out, though, as this week goes on. Shall we move on?
You know how easy this would be? I'm just going to emphasize this. To see a rematch of the first round from last year.
This time in LA.
In LA this time, yeah. That's pretty wild, bro. That would be really something to watch. That'd be pretty wild. I want that to happen.
Oh, that's going to be the NBC. If that happens, it's NBC Sunday night slate. Like, there's no way you cannot not have that as the NBC Sunday night game there. Going into the injury roundup. Hey, game 272. Alex Anzalone, who hasn't played since breaking his forearm in week 11, has a, quote, realistic chance to play Sunday night. So the Lions, who are slowly becoming healthier on defense, and their defense has been abysmal since everyone got hurt on their team, it looks pretty good for the Detroit Lions as they're trying to wrap up the 1 seed in a first-round bye for a team that is desperately needing some rest for all their players. Speaking of rest, Patrick Mahomes, Mecole Hardman, Mike Pannell, Trent McDuffie were limited in practice. Chris Jones, Isaiah Pacheco, Jawan Taylor did not practice for the Chiefs. Drake May, who suffered a finger injury in Saturday's game, was listed as a limited participant in practice due to a right hand injury. The Saints, who still have Kamara, Derek Carr on the team, that did not put him on injured reserve. Groin injury for Kamara, hand for Carr, did not practice, along with Kendre Miller as well, the other running back. Cardinals placed James Conner on IR and put Michael Carter to the active roster. As I scroll down a little bit more here, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be starting against the Seahawks on Sunday, as Matthew Stafford will rest. Jair Alexander, who has not played since the middle of November, had a PCL tear, had knee surgery, might be out for the rest of the season unless the Packers make it to the Super Bowl. So top corner is out again for the Green Bay Packers. Josh Dobbs going to be starting Sunday for the 49ers as Brock Purdy suffered a somewhat, quote, funny bone injury, as they're calling it. Little nerve thing. Kind of lost feeling in the hand there on a sack late in the game. So the Pastronaut comes back for yet the final game this year against this former team that traded him. And if we scroll down a little bit more, Snoop Huntley prepping to start against the New York Jets on Sunday with their playoff hopes are on the line. And the big one, Saquon Barkley will be resting against the New York Giants. The record will be staying put for another year for Eric Dickerson, Carson Wentz.
That record stands in a 16 game season, or
Yes, 16 games.
so theoretically, you know, even if Saquon were to break it, he would have had an extra game. So
Yeah,
it is what it is, you know.
if they were fighting for something, I would say, you know what, why not play them? But at the same time, it's like you're not playing for anything. You're just kind of there just to be there, essentially.
They're locked in.
As we got Jesse here who says, Jesus loves you both. Amen.
Merry Christmas.
So Carson Wentz going to be starting for the Chiefs on Sunday. Jalen Hurts is still in concussion protocol and he's not expected to be active on Sunday. So that's one thing to look out for. Commanders activated 21 practice day window for Austin Eckler. Sauce Gardner and Quinn Williams did not practice for the Jets today, but who cares about the teams that are in last place? And I think that's it. Chase Brown did not practice for the second day in a row after suffering an ankle injury very late against the Broncos for the Bengals. So, yeah, looking at that, and I think I have this all rounded up. And I don't know if I mentioned, but Ezekiel Elliott, released from the Cowboys, requested his release. Yeah, so interested to see where he goes next for his career. Let's go into this here. So I know week 17 feels like it was like 18 weeks ago, but I want to highlight this. Which week 17 performance stood out to you the most, Dom?
I gotta look back at them.
I can tell you one that stood out to me. Aaron Rodgers and his abysmal 2 fantasy points. No, I'm gonna go with Justin Herbert, who had a lot of question marks going into the season. No receiving core, no this, no that, but Ladd McConkey showing up, 1,000-yard receiver. They balled out against the Patriots, ran up the score very quickly, made sure they could clinch that playoff berth, and run off with it. So I'll give Justin Herbie fully loaded my flowers for this week.
Are we talking about performances that stood out, or like our favorite, like the game that we liked?
Could it be game of the week? That's a different thing, but just performances could be anything you're looking at there.
I mean, obviously the Vikings. That was a gigantic win against a division rival. Like that kind of set the playoffs, kind of like locked it in a little more.
Mm-hmm.
They that win against the Packers, obviously, it now puts the Packers in the spot they're in, and now gives the Vikings an opportunity to move up to the 1 seed. So, like that was a huge game for the Vikings. That win, I think, was really, really essential. We had a few of these where it's like they needed to do that, and they did that. The Commanders being one of them, they needed that win to kind of, say, hey, we're in the playoffs. That was a big win. Against another opponent that needed a win. Then we had the Rams against the Cardinals. That was big for the Rams. There's one more, and the Bucks. The Bucks just absolutely putting it on the table, the 8-14 against the Panthers to kind of keep them in the spot there. And I mean, there's teams that needed wins this week that got those wins, and that solidified playoff spots for themselves. So that's good on them.
Now we got a couple firings that are going to be probably reported on Monday, but I don't know which one you have. One that stands out to you. If you got to take a second to think, I do have one that's right off the cranium right here. Which head coach do you believe will be fired on Black Monday, which is the Monday after the regular season concludes?
I really think, and I don't think Sunday matters, but maybe it could. I don't know. I do think Daboll's going to be gone for the Giants. I think that's just kind of done deal at this point. Like, everything's just been such a bad look for the Giants. You got the plane going over, saying what it says every week now or whatever. I just like it's the laughing stock of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of been for years. Like, Daboll hasn't really had a time where they weren't kind of being laughed at. So I don't know how much. What do you do in keeping him around? That just is what it is. So
I think you have to clear house with the GM as well and Shane because, well, after that, That
I don't know if
contract
they
with
will.
Daniel Jones, that comes back and haunts you. So I think you got to do a double clearing, start from the ground up again.
Yeah, you should. I don't know if they will though.
I got one name, and I don't know, it could be a little heat on it, but Shane Steichen, the Indianapolis Colts head
Mm.
coach, after what they put on in MetLife, I think kind of shut the door on him. Having 2 seasons at 9 wins, over 500, you literally can control your destiny. And all I was told was, oh, hey, the Colts, they're gonna, they're gonna steamroll the Giants. It's easy. Then the reporter Richardson saying he had to crawl around his house because of like back pain sounds like really off. And then like McAfee having to come on and defending the Colts and all that stuff. I don't know. I think Ballard could be finding his way out there for the Colts, and I think Steichen could be as well. That was very weird for the Colts on Sunday.
Yeah. There's some head coach things happening. Like just some questionable stuff, like Zach Taylor, for example. The Bengals have no business not being in the playoffs. I mean, they look so good, but like, who do you blame? Like,
that defense is abysmal.
And that's kind of on the coach. That's kind of on coaching. When a bad defense is a bad defense, it's hard to blame the talent on the defense. It's easy to blame the coach. So I don't know how I feel about the Bengals. I don't know how I feel about Zach Taylor. That's a tough situation. There's a few that we could definitely look at.
I think another one is Antonio Pierce for the Raiders. I don't know. That's just getting like more steam as like you hear about it, and it's like, oh, if they could get this guy, forget about it. Like if he's available, he might jump it and might go in there.
No one talks about the Browns and Stefanski. So I don't know how no one's talking about that because
I feel like it's so off, but at the same time, like you look at teams that have had a coach that made it to the playoffs and then got fired, like Ben McAdoo. He made the playoffs for the Giants his first year, didn't even make it halfway through his second season and got canned.
Yeah.
And then last year, he comes out of the woodworks. Joe Flacco has a renaissance, helps them get to the playoffs. They got blown out though against the Texans. Then you look at that, and then the whole team's falling apart. But I mean, yeah, team was so injury ridden
too.
Team's injury ridden. They just they had injuries from last season that were carried into this season, and then the whole Watson thing. Now they readjusted the Watson contract so they could kind of get out of it, but still, it's a cap hell.
Yeah,
for the Browns.
There's some teams just kind of stuck in their spot, and I think their head coach is a part of it, like Doug Peterson. I don't know how to feel about the Cardinals. Like they did better than we thought they would do, but they still ended up at the moment 7-9, or they could end up 7-9. So it's like, I thought you had all the talent on the team and stuff. Where I don't know, man. There's a few where it is definitely there's some questionable situations. So.
And now I move on to this question because we talk about the day after the regular season, but it's also playoff time. Who's a team that you're looking forward to heading into the playoffs, whether it's the AFC or the NFC side?
I don't know. What about you? Go first.
One of the teams I'm kind of interested about, it would be the Vikings. I think the Vikings are the more interesting team. I could pick a low-hanging fruit like the Lions, but like whoever gets that 1 seed, I mean, you play through a dome for the rest of the seat, like essentially the playoffs. New Orleans is a dome. You don't have to worry about any kind of weather, nothing going on there. So the Vikings with Darnold, who has 36 touchdowns this season, he's just going off. He had 35 touchdowns, 4,000 yards. Brought a team that was 6.5 wins to on the brink of a 15-win season if they win. So I think the Vikings are a very much interesting play. And then why not put in the Buccaneers? Because the Buccaneers always play really tough in the playoffs. So I'll give them that.
I'll just stick in the same city twice. I really look forward to seeing what the Rams are going to do, because both of these teams have kind of gotten more together as the season went on, both LA teams, the Rams and the Chargers. I definitely think the Chargers can make a splash in the playoffs, which I don't think anyone's really thinking about. So I definitely want to see the Chargers because that first matchup could very, very well be Chargers and the Ravens. And
Oh, the Harbaugh too.
yeah, I mean that would be pretty interesting, So there's that, and the Rams. The Rams might have something for themselves. So we'll see. I don't. Both teams interesting. Both teams could maybe make a splash. So we'll see.
Do have a couple fantasy questions here from our guy Gabe from the last time we were live. He came in and was asking, should he start, I guess, Rashad White or Amir Abdullah? And Amir Abdullah, he took over Madison's spot and he was popping off, but he also does have a foot injury, so it warrants a lot of watching.
Plus, I mean, it's against the Chargers too, so I don't know if I would want that matchup. Whereas the Bucks against the Saints, that might be a little bit more favorable. So I might take Rashad White.
I would take Rashad White too. And they also asked Michael Penix or Bryce Young.
Maybe
I
Penix.
think Bryce Young might play up like spoiler here.
I mean, they both ideally really just put up the same game. So
1 touchdown, whole lot of nothing else going on there, but yeah. Let's get into this one here. Game of the week. Week 17 had a lot of doozies in the beginning, and then it got progressively better through. And ended on a banger. So I don't know where you're looking at here for your game of the week.
I would pick the game of the week that you and I watched together, the Bengals game. That game was awesome, man. That game was so great. The fact it went into overtime and everything, and then Zach Taylor, I said could be on C. I don't know. Made that decision to kick the ball. Didn't even go well. But yeah, that was quite a game. Had some explosive plays, huge plays. It was a fun game to watch.
I want to pick the game that has both franchises crumbling, which is the Colts and the Giants. The Colts can control their destiny; they fall apart in MetLife. Then the Giants, who control their destiny with the first pick, fall apart and just crumble in the process as well. But yeah, 45-35 or 45-40. I don't even know what the score was, but
44.
Holy hell. That was something.
Yeah.
I enjoyed every second of it. And we'll get to the cells in a second. And he also says, is Najee a good starting option? And Jalen McMillan. I say Jalen McMillan's a good starting option. I'm starting him in the championship over Devontae Adams. So, yeah, that's where I'm going. And if I need a running back, if I need to throw Devontae in the flex, I can throw him in the flex. So, have a lot of options here going for me, which it might have to go into the flex option there. But, yeah, Jalen McMillan, 6 touchdowns, 230, 40 yards. So, yeah, you got 2 good options there. I would start Najee against a horrible Bengals defense and Jalen McMillan, who Bengals just got to win. They're going to run up that score really early and try to get out of there unscathed.
Yeah.
So, and here we go, Dom. Let's whip out the notebooks. Whipping out these notebooks here. A buy, a sell, and a hold. And Gabe says, Chargers defense or Vikings defense? I would not start the Vikings defense. That is going to be a firework of a matchup Sunday night. So I think the Chargers, who have the least amount of points let up, I think it was like 272, is going to be your best bet there, Gabe. But as we go into here, buy, sell, and hold. Everyone's favorite segment. We buy a player or a team or a thing. We sell a player or a team or just an organization. And then a hold, which
I guess I should like wrap up my holds, huh? Like, should I just clear out my holds? I should probably just clear out all my holds, right?
I held myself a couple weeks ago. I think this was week 15. Yeah, we didn't do one last week. So
No.
my last hold was Michael Penix. So that's that.
If I'm going by what I have held and haven't touched yet, it is currently Tampa Bay, Arizona, and Washington. Those are some good decisions to be made. So I'm gonna clear this out. I'm gonna clear my hold limbo section of the segment for me. Decision on these 3 teams for myself. Washington, I'm gonna buy. I like Washington. They could have a matchup against the Rams. That might look kind of good in that matchup.
Mhm.
They might end up past the first round of the playoffs, the wild card round. So good for them. Then I'm going to take Tampa Bay. You got to buy Tampa Bay. You got to buy Tampa Bay. I held them like 4 weeks ago.
We also did 9 minutes, Tom. Can you forget 9-minute fantasy season preview on the Buccaneers?
Yep.
We thought they're going to flounder again, and here they are, just invading us once again.
The NFC South, we just, man, I don't even know. Colton talked about the Falcons for a while. They suck. Could be in the playoffs though. And then Arizona, I'm gonna sell. Arizona had chances, put up nine points this week. So, out of all my holds that I've had, there it is. I now have my sells and my buys. Washington, Tampa Bay, and I'm selling Arizona. Boom. Nothing is I have nothing in limbo now. I've wrapped it up.
You already wrapped everything up. Oh, geez. Okay. My buy is going to be the number 7 seed in the AFC. I'm going to buy into the race to the finish. So I'm not buying into the teams. I'm just buying into the race.
Okay.
It's like horse betting. It's like a win, play, show. That's what it is. 1, 2, 3. There it is. Win, play, show. So yeah, but you want to win. You don't want the place or the show. You want to win. You want to get in, do that stuff. So I'm going to buy into that. My sell, which might sound ludicrous here, I'm going to sell on the Houston Texans. Abysmal. Yeah.
Yep. Good sell.
They could go into looking at a nice thing for Christmas Day going in there, but when your owner comes out in the convertible there during the Beyonce performance, yeah, abysmal. And they're locking themselves back in for that 4:30 time slot. So I'm going to do that. And my sell, I'm going to sell on this Sharpie S-Gel pen because I just wrote down all the weeks that I did, all my buys and my sells, just like which weeks I did them. And I moved in and I smeared it all. So I'm already disappointed in myself.
I didn't hold anything because I previously cleared out my holds before. But I'll hold now, just looking at playoffs. I'm only talking playoffs. I'm going to hold the playoff Chargers and the playoff, if it applies, the playoff Broncos. So the playoff AFC West action, I'm going to hold on them because, like I said, I think the Chargers could make a splash. And we've gone a whole regular season through watching the Broncos, and I still have zero clue what to think about them. So as long as they continue to hold on to the playoffs, I am curious to see what they do against the Bills because that's really their only on.
Yes, Hunter, the Chiefs are resting there. Like Mahomes ain't playing. You're probably going to be seeing their practice squad quarterback play a couple snaps as well. So, yeah. And then Gabe says Terry McLaurin or George Pickens. I would have to say scary Terry, man. Steelers, they already got their 500 record, so they're just going to be crap in the bed as we move forward here for this postseason run. And, yeah, we're here last week. I don't even have a layout to do this. Oh, God. I don't even have the correct layout here. I would have to do something like this. Let me edit the layout here, and I can doesn't want to work. Uh-oh. Doesn't want me to move.
I don't know if you're going to be able to figure this out.
I'll be able to. Here, I can do this. We're going to do this. Owen's going to avoid the little media thing up there. We're going to slide that back down. Oh, no. You were in the right spot. Oh, yeah, God. Good. Damn it. Here, let me slide it back down. TikTok gets to see this part, but everyone else doesn't get to see it. No, I could just cancel it. Yeah, discard changes. TikTok gets to see all of that stuff. So here, let me go into this here. Week 18. Here is where we are for the picks. They don't line up, so it's okay. Let me kick off the banner here as well. So last week, let me pull up this here. Last week,
pretty great.
Dom and I won the week, 14-2. Last place, Dom. We're taking down someone with us. That should be our goal. We want to.
Colton needs to be on watch, bro, because
we're coming for him. So 14-2 for Dom last week, and Colton and Jake, they finished 12-4. So that's where this ended here. So let's kick this off here. And Gabe says, why Terry McLaurin? Terry McLaurin's going to play. You're not going to start George Pickens.
Facts.
It doesn't matter. Pittsburgh sold their souls. So they're not doing anything there. And now I could kick this back up to here, Dom. Now we're in the even playing field here. And we're starting out with the Saturday 4:30 game. The Browns and the Ravens. Ravens win. They clinch the AFC North. They clinched the AFC North here. And let me go into my picks here. Okay, so here. Well, for the three people that have picks in here right now, we are sweeping Baltimore, and they'll be winning the AFC North for the second consecutive year. Then we go to the 8 o'clock game on ESPN. The Bengals travel to Pittsburgh. Bengals win. They keep their playoff hopes alive until the late window on Sunday. And right now we are sweeping the Bengals. Colton says, I am over. He's definitely he's selling on the Steelers. He is done with the Steelers.
That's crazy.
Done with the Steelers here. And then we go into the 6-game early window. There's 14, 7, 6. I don't even know. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-game early window here. An Octobox, but it's not commercial-free football anymore. We're all taking the Atlanta Falcons to beat the Carolina Panthers. And then we go up the interstate a little bit. We go into Nashville here, where Colton right now is lone wolfing the Tennessee Titans to beat a potential Davis Mills-led Texans team heading into
I don't mind Davis Mills at all.
And then we go into this one. Saquon Barkley, he locks in that 2,000-yard season. He's not going to be playing on Sunday. Look at Kenneth Gainwell and Will Shipley to be taking the reps there for running back. And they host the Giants here. And Colton right now is lone wolf in the Philadelphia Eagles, which
I
is
feel
expected.
I feel like Jake is going to pick the Giants to win. I'm not going to lie. So
I'm using that. I'm using my cranium up there. That's what I'm thinking about there. And then we go from Philly to Indianapolis. The Jaguars and the Colts, both are eliminated. If the Jaguars lose, I think they lock in the top 5 pick. I think they do. Not 100% sure. Top 10 is like a hot mess right now after last week.
Yeah.
But Dom is lone wolfing the Jaguars right now. Colton and I are taking the Colts. And then we go to Dallas, where the Commanders, they win. They can lock in a 6 seed for the wild card for the NFC. But if they lose and the Packers win, they could go to 7, and it's going to result in them going to Philadelphia to play a playoff game, which you don't want to go to Philly and play a playoff game in, especially in January. We're all taking the Commanders here. Last game of the season in Lambeau. The Caleb Williams experience has not been it for the Bears. They traveled to play the Packers, and the ownership of the Packers, we are thinking, reigns again. So Jordan Love, the third heir of the ownership group for the Green Bay Packers. We have the Saints here, who are really trying to hope and get Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara back to really make this game competitive, can really shake up the NFC South. They face Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay just needs a win and clinch here. We're all taking Tampa Bay here. A very healthy Tampa Bay. The Bills and the Patriots, they met just 2 weeks ago. This time around, Josh Allen's probably going to kneel the ball the very first play, run to the bench, sit down, and not get hurt. Keep his 115-game start streak alive. We're all taking the Buffalo. Oh, Dom is lone wolf in the New England Patriots here. Patriots lose. They lock in the number 1 pick. New England will be on the clock starting January 5th at about 4 o'clock Eastern. So a lot of stuff's on the line here. And now we go into the 5-game late window. Chargers win, and the Steelers lose. The Chargers can move up in the playoff playoff picture here. They go to 5. They play the Raiders, who Antonio Pierce said F picks. He did the less need thing. Doesn't really care about the high picks here. Colton is lone wolfing the Las Vegas Raiders here. And then we go into a game that really doesn't have any playoff implications. The Pastronaut Josh Dobbs, he faces the Arizona Cardinals here. Colton is picking the 49ers to win.
Bold move.
Very, very bold here. Very, very bold. And from Arizona to Denver we go. Broncos control their destiny if they win. Win, and they're in. They're facing a Carson Wentz-led Kansas City Chiefs team with backups galore everywhere. I don't even know who's going to be playing at receiver. I don't know who's playing at tight end, offensive line, defense. Not sure what's going on there. Sweep of Denver here. We're sweeping the Denver Broncos. The Seahawks, they go from the Pacific Northwest. They play in the Pacific Southwest at SoFi Stadium against the Jimmy Garoppolo experience here. We're all taking the Rams here, who Blake Corum, all these people. Demarcus Robinson probably will play. And for some reason, they extended the Jets season 3 goddamn hours to put them at 4:25. They could have put it at 1 o'clock and just ended it there. Did not need to know anything that was going on here. The Dolphins, still alive in the playoffs. They need to win, and the Broncos need to lose. So, and we are all taking... Dom's taking the Jets here.
I don't know. Miami's playing in potentially cooler weather, I guess. And then,
They played in that monsoon against the Browns. That was a terrible weather game.
And then Tua's not playing, so I can't even pick. I don't know, dude. Whatever.
And it all comes down to this. Game 272. 5 years ago, the 49ers and the Seahawks came down to the very last game for the number 1 seed in the NFC. This time around, it's again the number 1 seed in the NFC is at stake here. The people who did never pick the Minnesota Vikings, they're here. They can control their fate with a win. Lions win. They control their fate with a win. First round bye is on the line here. I'm lone wolfing the Minnesota Vikings here. All for my man, Sam Darnold. I think it's only fitting that how that ends here. This is how the picks win. That's all. That is all there. We got a couple more questions here on TikTok. And Gabe says, why Terry and not Pickens? Commanders control their fate with a lot more stuff. And Hunter, who said Jets need to win, and Chiefs. Up the Jets. Up the Jets. And now the regular season concludes here. You can watch us on YouTube for the Fan Network, TikTok for the Fan Network, X for the Fan _ and Instagram for the Fan Football. 18 weeks, 7 weeks in the summer, followed by 17 episodes in the regular season. All comes down to this. Picks are done. Picks are locked. And then we come back for the playoffs. That's what goes down here. Gabe says, if Amir Abdullah is healthy, should I start him over White? I think Bucks are just going to try to run up that score as quickly as possible. So I think it's all hands on deck for the Bucks.
Yeah.
Commanders are not going to rest their starters. I don't think they will. So I don't think they're going to rest their starters. So yeah, and that's that. I was going to say I'm Dom, and that's Will. So yeah, that's how I'm going to end it. I'm Dom. That's Will. And we are for the fan. Tune in next week. Super Wildcard Weekend. We'll be breaking it all down. We'll have a lot of fun. And hope everyone's team wins. If you want them to tank, hope they tank correctly. And let's have a week, everyone. Let's have a week.